Let's go out to Minneapolis and talk to TJ. What's up, TJ?
Hi, Dr. John. Thanks for taking my call.
Of course, man. How are you?
Doing better than I deserve, I guess.
Excellent. Excellent. I like it. So what's up, man?
I'm just calling to see how I can change my behavior long term to help save my marriage.
What's going on?
There's been some recent arguments I've had with my wife, and come to the point where she's stated that she's weighing the options of divorce and basically pinnacling from I don't respect her and I don't value her decisions and her opinions and ideas and criticize her too much.
Is she right?
Definitely. I would say so.
So what's the, I mean, I guess the logical question is tell me about your reasons for treating her that way. Because based on what you just said, if she was my daughter, she was my sister, I would say, yeah, dude, I'll help you out. I'll call the lawyer for you.
Yeah, I just, in the moments, I guess, I don't think about how she feels about stuff. I guess.
Why do you wait till the moment?
I don't know. I don't really think about her opinion, I guess. I don't know if it's a selfish thing or...
Yeah, 1,000%. How long have you been married?
It'll be 10 years on the 1st of February.
Okay. So this has been going on a long time? Has it always been this way and she just said, I just can't do it anymore?
Actually, we talked about that, and she did say that when we first met, it wasn't like this at all. We met in high school. We were at a different point in our life than we are now. But then when we first met, cool, calm, collective, never got worked up about anything, and now he doesn't see that anymore.
So what's happened in your life, man? That you've become somebody you don't want to be. Somebody that you didn't used to be, but now you are.
I don't really know. I guess I've had a lot of life changes since that point in my life. And
well, we all had life changes, man. But we don't all treat our wife the way you treat yours. As though there's somebody not worthy of us.
I guess.
Is she not doing something? Is she not stepping up to the... here's the deal. I don't care about in the moment. In the moment is an excuse. Like, if I go to the grocery store and I buy tons of junk food and I fill my house up with it and every cabinet's full of junk food, and then I wait for a moment when I get mad or when something happens or when a bill's higher than I thought it was going to be or a paycheck is lower than I thought it was going to be or my middle schooler mouths off, in that moment, I've set myself up to fail. Because now I'm going to open a cabinet and there's going to be junk food and I'm going to eat it. Or if I struggle with alcohol, there's going to be alcohol, I'm going to grab it and I'm going to drink it. And so in the moment, that's not where the focus has to begin. Because in the moment is just it reveals the state of things in the moment.
Right.
Right? So back me out of this thing, man. You've created a world for yourself where you, in the moment, you are unable to be who you want to be, or you choose to not be who you want to be. Let me say it like that. So tell me about this world. Does she not love you anymore? Does she not care about you anymore? Do you not like who you see in the mirror anymore?
She still loves me. She says that she loves me, and it's definitely part of... I don't like how I see in the mirror by the way I act around her and other people too, in some regards as well. I don't know how to fix myself in that way, I guess, and the fact of I just see an issue or a problem and I just want to address it, and I don't really take in regard how people think about that, and I just want to solve the problem, I guess.
But you don't want to solve the problem of being a better dad or a better husband. Because if it was just that easy to just solve it, that's just who I am. I just like to get in there and solve it. Why don't you just get in there and solve this one? Because I think it's deeper than that. What has happened in the last 10 years of your life that makes you not happy with the life you've created for TJ?
I think my expectations for how I perceive my immediate family should be, and how, we should make this much, we should do this much, we should, go to church, we should. I'm just trying to set these expectations for what I have. My kids' room should be clean. I just have this bar set of where I see our lives, and then when it doesn't line up with my vision of it, I don't know.
What is that imaginary fantasy vision get you? Because I have a similar one. I want my kids' rooms to be clean. My family to go to church. I want to make this much money. I have that too. I have incredibly high standards.
I don't know. When I don't see that happening, or my vision of that happening, I don't want to say I take it as like a personal attack, but I guess I get on the defensive about it. Why hasn't this been done, or why would you think that, or I don't like that idea.
So I'll just cut to the chase here, man. Almost every person I've talked to over the last 20 years in this situation, who puts external metrics on those closest to them, external expectations. I want my kid's room to be clean, my son's room to be clean, because I know he has my brain. And I know that clutter and chaos will make his day more difficult and challenging. I also know that long term, for him to be a man who gets things done in an orderly fashion and to become some sort of husband to somebody someday, there has to be some sort of order and some sort of ritualistic cleaning and tidying up after himself. That's psychology, right? I know the data there. But it's not, I don't carry it as though it's an affront to my my self-esteem. I don't look at his dirty room as though I have failed as a father and he has failed me. And almost every time I talk to somebody who lives the way you live, is you don't like yourself so much, and you are so bored and exhausted with the life you've created for yourself, that the only way you can get out of that is to put all of those negative feelings that you have toward yourself on other people, and you create these standards. And the standards in and of themselves aren't the problem. It's that those standards are signals to you of your worth, your value. And if somebody causes your value to be less than, you lose it.
Sounds accurate.
So I'll ask you, why don't you like TJ? Do you not make enough money? Have you gained a bunch of weight? Do you not like having kids? Do you wish you hadn't been married? Like, what? Do you live in the wrong town? What is it about the world you've created that makes you so freaking miserable?
I don't know. I think it's just the unrealistic expectations I've set in myself and my family. Because
forget your family
really
for a second. Forget your family for a second. What are you failing in?
To be honest, it's probably being a good husband and a good father, but that's obviously not front of my mind when these things are coming up.
Well, if you have created a lie in your head that says, I'm a good father and a good husband because my wife does X, Y, and Z, and I'm a good father and a good husband because my kids, their room is always perfect, their clothes are always perfect, their grades are perfect. And if you have outsourced that sense of I'm a good husband and a good dad to the performance of other people, when they fail in their performance, then you suddenly are a failure. Do you realize how you've made your wife and your kids your report card? And that's not their job.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Is that fair?
Yeah. And since I wrote into the show, it's been a little bit, and I've been told from my wife that things have been getting better, and I've been criticizing her less and not dismissing her opinions when it comes to our life decisions as much.
Yeah, you're still headed straight for divorce court. Because this is not going to be done by just reducing it to a trickle. You have to change your life. How serious are you about keeping this marriage?
Oh, 100%.
How serious are you about keeping your kids?
1,000%.
Do you understand you're about to lose them both?
I do.
Okay. How radical are you willing to get?
As radical as I need to be.
All right. Sometime this week, probably not tonight because you need a minute, I want you to take your wife's hands. And by the way, don't read the comments on this because you're going to get a bunch of moronic idiots who have never held a marriage together and don't know what being a good father looks like, okay? You promised me on that one?
I promise you.
All right. By the time this comes out, you'll have already done a 30-day challenge. I'm giving you 30 days, okay?
Right.
Actually, you know what? I take that back. Tonight, I want you to put the kids to bed and tell your wife you have something important to talk to her about. And I want you to get on both of your knees in front of your wife and hold both of her hands and say, I am so sorry. I'm begging for your forgiveness. Will you forgive me for the man I've become and the way I've treated you and our children? I'm sorry. No explanations. No, but because just beg for forgiveness because she's walking out the door. Okay?
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, I want you to look her in the eye and say, this little act right here means nothing if I don't back it up with action. So I want you both to get up and sit at a table, and I want you to get out a pen and a paper and ask her this question. How can I love you? And tell her, I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to speak. I'm simply going to write this down. Here's what we're doing. We are overhitting the pendulum the other way. There's going to have to be some balance here, but right now you have to change the way you interact with the most important people in your life. And so this can't pass your algorithms. This can't pass your rational thinking. That doesn't even make sense. But you go by the gas station every day. Why should I fill up your car? I'm going to fill your car up with gas every Sunday night. And I'm going to pray for you and our marriage on the way to the gas station, on the way back. It's going to be an act of monastic service. After the kids are in bed, after you're in bed, I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to drive. I'm going to pray for you and our marriage. I'm going to fill your car up with gas every Sunday night. And if she says, when I get home from work, I just want to talk to you. And I don't want to be told how dumb I am. And I don't want you looking at which things aren't done in the house. And that leads me to number three. Every time you walk in the house and start to criticize something, you go do it. I can't believe there's dishes left. I'm going to go do those dishes. This isn't forever. This is for 30 days. Because I want you to begin to switch your body's understanding of what being a husband is. A husband is not your wife performing for you so that you feel good about yourself. A husband is about service. And so I want you to begin looking at challenges in your home, quote unquote problems, messes, little things, big things, not as things to point out for other people to fix for you, but for ways you can serve. You see the flip there?
I do.
You're still going to notice the carpet that needs to be vacuumed. You're still going to notice the kids' clothes in the corner. But instead of noticing them as wife failures, thus husband failure, you're going to notice them as, oh, sweet, I get to serve my family.
I think that perspective would definitely help.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. For 30 days, every time you criticize her, you have to send $25 to the charity of her choice. Now, that doesn't mean you don't get an opinion in your own home. What that means is you have to be a man of strength and bravery And you have to say the word I. Not, you didn't. You have to say, I need to come up with a solution about all these dirty clothes everywhere. How can I help? Versus, you always leave all the... You see what I'm saying? See the difference?
Definitely.
Hey, hon, when I get home, I have this picture in my head that we're going to have, like, dinner's just going to be ready to rock and roll. And I know you're running around with the kids. I know you've got your own job. I know whatever's going on in life. What can I do to help this? See how one is an invitation, a curious invitation, and the other is an accusation and a criticism. Every time you use the word you, you're going to put $25 in a jar, or you're going to write a check, and you're going to send it to wherever she wants you to send it. Fair?
That's fair.
Okay. On a daily basis, this is number 4. Before she leaves the house, I want you to hold her. Ask her, can I give you a hug? A long one. And I want you to hold her. And there's not going to be an ROI on this hug that's immediate. There's not going to be like, oh, I've got 15 seconds. Not that. I'm going to hold my wife. And then I want you to ask her, how can I love you today? And here's what we're doing, dude. We are practicing. Okay? We're practicing. Whenever you see your kid's room messed up and it starts to set off, I'm failing as a dad, and those kids need to... Relax, man. Relax. My office in my house is an absolute nightmare. It's a disaster right now. It shouldn't be, but it is. And I had an incredible financial year, and I wrote 2 best-selling books over the last 2 years, and I've got a good show. My life's okay. Your kids are going to be fine. Okay?
Okay.
If I have to make an error one way or the other, I'd rather my kids want to come home and be with me than have had a perfectly made bed their whole childhood. Is making your bed important? Absolutely. Is picking up your clothes important lesson to teach kids? No question about it. Am I going to burn my relationship with my kids to the ground over that? No way.
And I realize that when after I'm in those situations, and I just feel guilt after that, like doing their homework with them, and I get frustrated, and why don't you understand this? And then after the fact, that they're just sad. And
so here's a number 5. I'm giving it to you. You have to begin to circle back and say, I'm sorry, your daddy messed that up. Do you forgive me? And they'll say, it's okay, daddy. And you'll say, no, it's not. Because dads shouldn't talk to their kids like that. I'm sorry. I know you're trying your best. I remember how hard school was for me too. You see how easy that is, man?
Yeah.
Like I can feel my shoulders relaxing just saying that. It takes so much pressure off that you have to be this perfect thing, and then you have that guilt and shame. The only way you can feel the guilt and shame, the only way you can make it go away is to then try to feel powerful again. And the only way you can feel powerful is by beating up on your wife and your kids again. And it just creates this loop that never ends until your wife walks out the door. And so you have to open your hands and let it go. And you're going to find a strange thing. The more you honor your wife, the more you say, I'm sorry to your kids when you blow up. By the way, I'd have a family meeting where you say, Daddy has become very mean. And I don't like it anymore. And Dad's going to make some big changes around here. But sometimes I'm going to have to just walk away for a minute because that's Daddy working on and practicing not being mean. And so if I walk away, I want you to know it's because I love you. I want you to tell your kids that. I want you to tell your wife that. You got to stop the cycle, man. Is that fair?
That's fair. Absolutely.
Okay. So I've given you the roadmap, dude. I'm also going to send you a copy of my book, Building a Non-Anxious Life. It's got a roadmap in there too. And my guess is you have built for yourself such a tightly wound life that it is hard to maneuver inside of that thing. And so it's just leaking out on everybody you love. I will say this. I'm proud of you for saying, I've got to do something different. Because you don't like criticizing all the time. You miss your wife. You like sitting there working on homework with your kids, even when it's frustrating and hard. But you don't like that look when you say, are you kidding me? How do you not know this? And they just drop their head. You don't want this either. No dad does. Be with your family, not over them. Be with your family. And what you're going to find is service and leadership comes underneath people and lifts them up. It doesn't lord over them. I've given you the roadmap, my brother. Hang on the line. I'll hook you up with this book too. Best of luck to you, man. I hope you change everything. I think you can.